Hi, I'm Luke, and I'm here with
Sebastian.
And Ollie.
and we are here to talk about student athletes and how sports affects grades and homework.
All right, well, I'm just going to start off the podcast with my story of my experience with my first year of high school baseball and how I dealt with my time of practice and games and with my homework and homework load and tests and everything.
I am going to be talking about basketball season and playing for two different teams at the same time, and how tough it was to get homework done, do my chores, eat dinner, all the sorts of stuff that you do on a daily night.
Okay, I'm going to be talking about my soccer season and how last year it affected my grades pretty significantly, and what I'm going to do better and how I can do better with both.
So, one Thursday, I was coming out of class late, and I missed all the buses, unfortunately. So I had to walk home, and by the time I got home, it was pretty close to 5 almost, because I live pretty far away from White Hill, and I had a lot of homework and a test the next day, and so I usually was eating dinner around 5:30 because basketball 6 to 9, then from 9 to 10 I'd be doing laundry, and then 10 I'd just go to bed. I'd be really tired. So I had like a half an hour to do more than an hour's worth of homework, and it was crazy. So I just didn't do any of the homework. I just decided, you know what, no, I'm not doing any of this homework. So I just chilled out and did all my stuff. But the next day I went and took the test, and it was the hardest test I ever took. It was so hard. I didn't understand any of it, and I didn't do any of the study guide, and that just shows that it's really hard to balance sports and school, especially if you're having two sports and all on a certain night where you have a lot of homework assigned. So that's my story on how sports affects your grades, and it's not in a good way. It's very hard to get good grades with a lot of sports activities.
So today I'm going to be talking about how when I was in the soccer season, how my grades dropped during then. Because one day I was playing for a team called Central Marin, and it was after I left another club to play for them because they were better. The hardest part for me during this playing for this club was we had practice every Tuesday, Thursday, and for some reason the teachers decided to load the homework on those 2 days, not Monday, Wednesday, or I wouldn't know why they do it on Friday, but not Monday or Wednesday. And so my practice was right after school, and it was in Santa Fe. I was at White Hill Middle School, so we'd have to leave 5 minutes early. We had to talk to the principal, and we'd have to drive in traffic to get there. And we were late because we were from Fairfax, and we were the only like Fairfax kids. They were all Kent and Ross, so they also lived a lot closer and went to school a lot closer. So we would always be late, and practice ended at dark, and then I'd have to get a ride home. It would be like 8 o'clock by the time I get home, and my parents would be eating dinner, and I'd have to eat dinner and then go straight into homework. So the biggest problem for me with playing with the club team was the amount of practices and homework, and just learning to balance my homework. I just needed help learning to balance my homework, and whenever one of my ways that I kept track of my homework was to just to write it on a piece of paper or whiteboard that my mom brought home for me. And whenever I'd finish it, I'd check it off the mark, or I'd check off the box, and then that would just tell me how much I had left or how little I had left. And that really helped me, but the easiest part about it was just checking in with my teachers to see if I could get an extension, or just checking in to see what was due, when it was due, and just like all the that's it.
All right, I'm gonna be talking about the pros and cons of playing high school sports in general and managing your time to get all your stuff done. So, I really like to play baseball and play sports and stuff. It's like what I do outside of school. And when the first few weeks of high school baseball, it was way harder than I thought to manage my time, because I would go to school for 7 hours every day, then have like a 2-hour practice after school and get home around like 7:30, 8, and then I would have to do my homework or study for something, and I'd just be super like just beat and tired. And once I got used to that, it was fine. But the pros of playing high school sports is you can do what you really love to do every day, and you get to be with friends and play or participate in, for example, what I do, baseball, and what my friends do, like football, basketball. You can be with them every day and have a great time, but it's also really tiring to get all your stuff done. So a con for me was every day it was just baseball. It was school, baseball, then homework and everything. I'd be so tired, and sometimes I wouldn't even get those done, and my grades would fall a little bit, but I'd try super hard to bring them back up, and that worked. So what I did was I kind of just made a little checklist, like Ollie said, to get everything done and checked off. So I would do a certain amount every night, and then go the next day to check in with teachers and get the work for them, then turn it in, and keep doing that, and finally it just became a routine thing for me. So after those first few hard, tiring weeks of baseball, when we were just starting to get into it, first games and everything, that's when I really started getting used to it. It's like the perfect time, because that's when games started, and after at games you get home like super late if you play like far away. So
All right, now, so guys, were playing those sports worth it?
I think it was, because you get to do what you love to do every day and be with the people who you really like, and then you get to play in games and have a great time and have fun with it.
Yeah, to say what Sebastian was talking about, I definitely enjoyed playing the sports and playing multi-sports. That is also very fun, even though it's a time crunch and homework comes first, sports second. Luke, do you have anything?
Yeah, I totally think it was worth it. I mean, I made a lot of new friends playing sports, and sports is what I love, and so it's my passion, and
But
I love to do it.
there's also cons that come with it, because it's kind of like what I said in my story. I had to go to school for 7 hours, then go to practice or a game for a few hours, and go home, and it'd be decently late, and I'm super tired, but I still have homework and studying to do. So there's a few cons that come with it, but definitely one thing that I love to do and hope to do in the future.
So it was worth it, though, for all of you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Worth it for me.
Our final answer is definitely worth it. Definitely worth the time. Definitely worth the effort and difficulty it comes with.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was pretty much a solid A student when I wasn't playing sports, but I would turn to an A's and B's student when I started playing sports. Did it affect your grade as much as me, or guys?
It definitely did affect my grades during the sports. seasons, or at least for soccer season for me, it definitely did affect my grades. They definitely dropped a little bit, but I ended up getting them up in the end.
At the beginning, it was definitely hard for me. So my grades did drop a little bit, but I finally brought them up and did pretty well for my standards. So, yeah.
Oh, you have any questions?
Yeah, did you find good ways to study for tests and get your homework done even with the sports?
What I did was the day it was assigned, or like when it was assigned, I'd instantly just start it and try to get it done with, so I didn't have to worry about it, but also do a good job on it so I wouldn't do bad and do good.
Yeah, I did a lot of homework in class, which is not something you're usually supposed to do. I mean, but I think I got the material well enough. Homework in class was actually a big help for me.
Yeah, my study habits were at least I'd go to the library after school, or I'd just come home and I'd just sit down and power through it. Even if it was difficult or hard, I'd have to ask questions with my parents, or check the website, or check anything just to figure out what was due, when it was due, and the requirements for it.
All right, this concludes our podcast. Thanks for listening.
All right, I'm here to talk about my experience with sports and schoolwork and how to balance it and how to get everything done on a school night and get good grades. So, at the beginning of 8th grade year, I was playing for 2 basketball teams, my school team and my local parish's team. And on Tuesday and Thursday nights, I had two practices, one from 6 to 7:30, the other from 7:30 to 9. So it was very difficult on those nights where you get most of your homework to get homework done. I also had to eat dinner, and at the time, my laundry machine was broken. So every Thursday, we would go to the laundromat after basketball and do laundry. So it was very difficult, very, very difficult, actually. And I was not living up to my full potential with grades, and it was really